Well, hello, kids. It's 11 o'clock on a Saturday morning. That means it is time for Drive Time Radio. Good morning to you, the motoring public out there. We got news, we got views, and we got previews this morning, as well as a couple of nice cars I want to show you. I mean, I've really been in a run of some really groovy cars the last few weeks, and I'm looking forward to being able to having you take a look at them and get your thoughts on what you're seeing. The end of the year now, it gets kind of scarce because, the model year changeover and everything. This used to be in September, but no longer. So I seem to be winding up with either the newest cars or the oldest of the fleet. But I'm happy because um, in reality, you get these cars, and listen, it's a blessing. I always consider it a blessing to even get the cars. So please don't. But you go through runs of really great cars and kind of average cars. There's no bad cars these days. There are very few bad cars on the floor. Manufacturers for the most part have really, and this is something I've been saying for years. Manufacturers have really upped their game, both American and foreign, in bringing you cars that are worth your money, that are worth buying. Cars today, like if you take a look at this old pickup truck behind me, this was basically a piece of pressed steel in which they strapped an engine and put some wires into a few lights here and there, and boom, they threw it out onto the showroom floor. Today's car is so built, so crafted, so thought about that it really does wind up being a spectacular piece of, in some cases, art, in all cases, transportation. But there's so much that you take a look at and say, man, what would my father think? My father that drove a 52 Cadillac, a 55 Cadillac, a 59 Cadillac, a 63 Cadillac, a 64 Cadillac, which were still in the phases of they're slapping, steel pressings, engines into steel pressings. You would wonder about that. You would say, well, what 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 would he think? What would he think of the Cadillac Celestique, which I got to look at last night, which is a $400,000 Cadillac, and is a just a it's not just a car; it's a work of art. It's it's going to be a car. Now I don't know if they're going to get this buzz off it because I don't know that people are going to know what it is for a number of years. But this is a car that's meant to compete with Rolls Royce. This is a car that's meant to compete with the finest crafted cars from England, from Japan, and from anywhere else in the world that they're going to build finely crafted cars. And this car is, well, it's unreal. I mean, take away just the kind of creature comforts that we see in cars today, things like massaging seats and heated seats and air conditioned seats and this and that and the other thing, and the luxuries. I remember I had a Rolls Royce that had a roof in it that had twinkling stars, and it was amazing. It was an amazing experience because you just sat and wondered about the people that drove this car, the people that manufactured this car, the people that designed this car, you think all the way back to what kind of people got in a room and started thinking about designing this car. And wouldn't it be great if you could see all those cars in one place and kind of look? Well, you are going to get a chance to do that. That's a thing that's going to happen for you. We have made sure that you are going to be able to see all of those cars in one place, because what's happening next week, kiddies and kids? The Seattle International Auto Show. That's right. It's coming up next week. And we are going to do what we do every year. What has become a Thanksgiving tradition around this place. We are going to I don't know what's going on with this screen this morning. It seems to be a little out of whack. But we are going to get you to the auto show. We'll have some tickets to give away for the auto show, and which is next Wednesday, no, Friday through Sunday at the Lumen Exhibition Center, Lumen Field Exhibition Center. You're going to want to go there. You're going to want to see it. It's it is a tradition around here, and it's something that we always like to go to and to shoot you, if you can't go there, the details from it. So we will do that next week. We will be live at the Seattle International Auto Show. We'll talk about that a little bit later in the show as well. Try to get you kind of hipped up as to what's happening there. And I think that it's going to be an interesting auto show this year. It's going to be one worth looking, because they're going to have obviously some of the new iron that is coming out. I don't even know, should I call it iron anymore with all the plastic parts and stuff, but they're going to have a lot of all the new stuff is going to be on the floor. We will be joined in just a little bit by Kristen Vanderhey Shaw, who is going to be one of the people that you can book a personalized tour, a VIP tour of the Seattle International Auto Show. And in that, you'll get to see behind the scenes stuff. You'll just get a look at what's going on behind the scenes. You'll get deep dive information about the Seattle, the cars that are at the Seattle International Auto Show. You'll also get to touch them, test them, and drive them. And by the way, the Seattle International Auto Show is one of the sponsors of this show this morning. We thank them very much for their participation. You can get tickets by going to seattleautoshow.com and make sure that you can get in there on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, November 14th, 15th, and 16th. As I said, I'll be there November 15th, broadcasting live. Please come by and say hello. And I usually hang out a little bit after that and talk to people about baseball, talk to people about cars, talk to people about whatever there is to talk about. The hours, Friday, 10 a.m. to 9, Saturday, 10 a.m. to 9, Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6. and you'll be able to see electric vehicles. You'll be able to see ICE vehicles. You'll be able to, for your young kids, participate in a bright future career fair. And you'll have people there, experts from all of these different brands that are participating in the show and some other ancillary stuff that goes along with the show. But all of these different people, these car brands, send representatives so you can ask them the questions about these cars. You can talk to a Porsche person. You can talk to a Lincoln person. You can talk to a person who knows about these cars. And then for an unbiased opinion, you can come to somebody like me, somebody like Tom Volk, somebody like Kristen, and through all of us, get a good feeling about what is out there. And not only for electric cars, but for gas powered cars as well, and for anything else that you're thinking about driving. Is an electric car still worth it? Or are we in a place, there's a lot of controversy right now about electric cars. So you'll get a chance to talk uh, a lot more about it. All right, let me, by the way, also the show is also sponsored by my good friend George Jackson, GJPromo.com. Don't forget about George. The time is coming for the Christmas presents, the little gifts of appreciation that you give people, whether they be a calendar for next year, a keychain, a pen, whatever it is, whatever kind of business or personal. I mean, I always say business gifts that you need, but personal gifts too. Give George at GJ Promo a shout. He has still got time to get stuff for Christmas. We'll treat you right with the prices. Matter of fact, he is working on designing right now some brand new Yo Vinnie, what are you driving this week t-shirts that we will have, that we will be giving out in the next year as prizes on this show. And we're also, another announcement that we're going to do, we're going to also try to do a Santa Vinnie this week. Or a Yo Santa, what are you dropping off this week? In December. So listen to, we haven't figured out the date yet, but I would think it'll be the show that we have before Christmas. That we will have some prizes. The whole show will be centered around you calling in and being awarded some prizes. It's kind of a thank you for listening show, and also a way for advertisers to get some of their product into your hands. So that's some of the stuff that's coming up in the near future. And also, we are working right now with the opportunity, the ability to present to you for, I don't know how many years in a row now this is, the top 5 cars I did not want to give back this year. Something tells me they're all going to be hot hatchbacks. No, actually, they won't. There'll be some interesting cars. There's some. I got to drive some really interesting cars this year, and we're going through them right now. Me and a couple of people that I trust, my daughter, and so on and so forth. We go through them, and we try to figure out which are the ones that you enjoyed so much this year. So be aware of that. Okay, a couple of quick news items I want to get to before we get to Kristen and have her join us. A few news items from the automotive world. We are, electric vehicles are in an interesting place right now. This is something that we saw was going to happen at the end of September when they took the credits away, the $7,500 federal credits. We have seen that electric car sales have tanked, have really, really tanked. So much so right now that there are you know, manufacturers who are stopping productions on cars. The one that is really interesting to me, well, there's two of them that are really interesting to me, and that is the Ford F-150 Lightning. This is a truck I thought, and I've seen a lot of them on the road. I've seen them, uh, in places. The places I haven't seen them are the places they probably should be, and that is the country. And I haven't seen a lot of them in the country. In the city, if you're a business in the city and you don't tow too much stuff and you need a pickup truck and you can buy one at a good price, they make a lot of sense. But again, it's a case of charging way too much than the market could bear for a product. I mean, I just don't. When I saw the price tag on the F-150 Lightning, I just said, who's going to buy it? At 70, 80, 90,000 dollars, who's going to buy an electric truck? What they should have done, Ford, is they should have made an all-electric Maverick to start. Give people a small truck that was inexpensive and more than likely to be used in the city, and then go from there. And I think they would have sold them like hotcakes. I think they would have sold a ton of them, but they are they are now out of production for the moment. Doesn't mean you can't buy one. Dealers have plenty of them on their lots. Well, they can get you one. There's a ton of them. I don't know, 400-day supply of them sitting around the country. So if you want one, you'll find one. And at, I am thinking, a greatly reduced price with incentives and so on and so forth. They want to get those off their lots before they start making other ones. And I'm not really sure that they're going to start making other ones. The second vehicle that I'm quite shocked. I mean, I'm actually mourning this vehicle, and it's something that I was going to talk to Tom about, but I'll talk to Kristen as well when she joins us in a few minutes, because it is one of the major disappointments of the automotive year for me. This is a car that I drove it last year. You remember I told you we drove it up to the Springsteen concert and back. We drove it to Leavenworth. We drove it all over the place. Camped in it one night. I thought it was the answer. I thought that if an electric vehicle was going to take off, that in this class of car, that the Volkswagen ID Buzz was going to be the car that was going to take off. And they have announced now that they have stopped production on those vehicles. And I don't know if Volkswagen knows what they're going to do with those vehicles. So the ID Buzz is no longer being made. Now, that doesn't mean that they're not going to come back and make them again. It doesn't mean that they're gone. I'm sure that if you go to a Volkswagen dealer, that he'll be able to scrounge you up one and probably give you a pretty good deal on one. As a matter of fact, I've been thinking about going and buying one because I enjoyed that car so much. I thought it had everything you wanted in a minivan. It had space. It had adaptability to different scenarios that you would want to use it in. It had decent range. I mean, it didn't have 400 or 500 miles worth of range, but it got you out to Leavenworth and back with a full load of people. And for you people who drive around Seattle every day, it seemed like it was a good deal, especially if you're picking up your kids from school. I mean, I had to think that you would be the coolest mom in school if you pulled up with a Volkswagen Buzz. Because it was just that kind of car. It was a cool-looking, groovy car. The people, and I already saw. So when I was down in Southern California, I saw customizations on them. I saw a couple of Woodies. I saw a Surf, one set up for or surf stuff. I just thought it was going to take off, and yet some reason, and like I'm going to ask Kristen about that when she jumps on about that particular vehicle. All right, a couple other notes. If you are driving in Cedro-Woolley up north, you may be interested in a court case that was actually brought by a gentleman out in Walla Walla. One of those guys who have nothing to do but bring court cases around. But he brought the court case about the cameras that they use in Cedro-Woolley to take everybody's license plate. If you're driving on Route 20, going through Cedro-Woolley, if you're on the North Cascades Highway, if you're driving past, they have certain cameras. They're different than the red light cameras. This is a camera that takes every license plate number and puts it into a computer and can tell you if your registration is expired, if if you're a criminal, if your car's wanted, if you're wanted. It amounts to Soviet Union type surveillance. I've always said that we're going to turn into the Soviet Union, and we're getting closer to it every day. But this gentleman out in Yakima, in Walla Walla, filed a suit telling the city of Cedro-Woolley, and I think is it Kitsap County? No, it's not Kitsap. It's Skagit County. Thank you, Skagit County, to shut the cameras off, and he has won his case. They have to shut those cameras off. I mean, whatever happened to, the cops have those types of cameras on their car. I can see that because the car is not taking every car that's on the street. But do you not have a right to go where you want, when you want, without being observed? I mean, I know we're losing most of our rights in America, slowly but surely. Didn't start happening yesterday, and don't blame Trump because it was Bush that signed the Patriot Act and Obama that re-signed it. So, take it easy when you start blaming people. But, I thought the tenet of a car in America was that you get in it, you hit the gas, you put it in gear, and you go wherever you want. Wind blowing through your hair. You can have the right window open if you want. You can have the top down. And if you want to drive across the state to Wenatchee and grab a couple of apples or a quarter apple cider or something, that you can do it. But evidently, and at least the Skagit County Court agrees with me. So that's a good thing. I'm happy in that respect. Also, reminder, if you are in Seattle this week, the parking prices are going to change. So make sure you don't get nailed when you're down there, because this is the meter people's happy season, man. They changed the number of the times and the amounts that you have to pay. So you may be putting what you think is enough money into a meter, and it may be different. So make sure that you buy the right amount of time, realize what time it is in relation to what money you're putting in, and cover yourself. It's a lot cheaper to spend the $2 or $3 now to park your car than to spend I don't know what they get for a ticket in Seattle these days, but I'll bet you it's not cheap. I bet you it's $30 if it's anything. So do that. And my final thing that I will say is this is a time when people come out of their houses. Maybe they don't come out early, but they come out of their houses, they get in their cars, and they go shopping. Old people do that. Old people with handicap stickers, handicap placards. Please, if you do not have a handicap card, do not park in a handicap parking space. People need to access to get in the stores. Like I say, maybe the one time a month that they come out to go to the store. And make it easy on these people. And personally, I think if you park in a handicap spot and you don't have a handicap sticker or a license plate, that it ought to be like a $1,000 fine, and they impound your car. But I'm funny that way. I think the people that drive drunk ought to get a 30-day sentence in jail, or at least a 7-day sentence in jail their first time out. All right. The Seattle Auto Show is coming. By the way, coming up a little bit later, we will have Yo Vinnie. What are you driving this week? And a hot hatch that I think you're going to love. But the show is coming up this starting this Friday. We are always happy to participate in the Seattle Auto Show. I will be broadcasting there live, and a good friend of mine that is somebody I've gotten to know over the last few years, and I think she's one of the brightest automotive writers on the scene today. So I'll throw my props out ahead of time, and she will be there. You'll get a chance to meet her as a VIP tour host, and of course, an automotive editor that she is for many publications. I mean, I remember when she used to be back with what was the CBS thing that was on for a while. One of the great was it Wheels or something like that, or I think you were like the weekend editor there, weren't you?
Briefly, I did something for U.S. News and World Report. Yeah,
Maybe
before.
that's. I know. I was reading your bio and I said, "Oh, I remember what you." But anyway, Kristen Brown is with us and joins us now. By the way, she's also a member of NWAPA,
Yeah,
so we got you covered with NWAPA. Good morning,
yeah,
Kristen. How are
treasurer
you?
now, so everybody loves me because I pay them. So
Yes, yes. You know, to me, they even like a schmuck like me because I pay them. For the last 25 years, I've been paying them. I keep saying that 25 years we ought to get something like a plaque
yeah,
or
you're one
something.
of the OGs.
Something. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I'm out in California now, back in the San Francisco Bay Area.
Ah, my
So it's
old
been
home.
nice because the weather's a little bit more mild. I miss the snow and the mountains and everything, but we're a little bit closer to family now, so my
Yeah,
kids aren't driving me too crazy.
it's such a great place. I mean, I lived there for boy, I want to say 13, 14 years, and
Yeah,
lived right in San Francisco, and absolutely loved it. Well, I did a two-year
it's
stint in
changed a
Milltown.
lot, but it's still a really pretty place. And
Yeah,
I'll get to ride a Waymo now, which is really cool.
I was down. My sister still lives in San Mateo, and so I was down there around my birthday, which was in early
Yeah,
September, and I was in San Mateo, and sitting in a parking lot. I was writing something in a parking lot because I was doing a story on the San Mateo Sheriff's Department and the Batmobile incident. I don't know if you're familiar with
yeah,
that. But
of course.
yeah, I think everybody is now.
Yeah,
Uh, and I counted like 30 Waymos going by me. And I guess it butts up against Silicon Valley and so many,
yeah.
and it
Yeah,
was
when
amazing.
I was in Phoenix for the Nissan Sentra event, and I pulled up to a stoplight, and there were two of them side by side. One was going to go straight, one was going to make a left at the light. And I was just like, I was, in my head making jokes. I'm like, oh, they're probably communicating to each other, like, oh, what are you doing? Who are you going to pick up?
Well, I think they do though have to communicate to each other, don't they?
Yeah.
Because there is through, I don't know, lidar or whatever the system is, that they do
Mhm.
have to like talk to each other, I guess, so they don't make a turn in front of each other.
Yeah.
It's quite, and I know they're coming to Seattle. I mean, they're coming everywhere. They're even going to approve them for Canada. I have not ridden in one. I am dying to.
Yeah.
So
Well, especially, as a young woman, the first thing I think of is now you're not gonna have to deal with creepy drivers. Because when I was in Houston, I had to get an Uber, and the driver was sitting there whispering to himself the entire drive. And I'm like, if I was in a Waymo, I wouldn't be dealing with this.
are,
So,
are that are there that many creepy drivers with Uber and Lyft and some of these services? I drove Uber for a while when I lived in Pittsburgh many years ago,
yeah,
and I was always, I mean, I'm an upstanding old man, I was like, open the door for people, get them in. I try to converse. I usually put Sinatra music on, I had to, just kind of some unoffensive music. And I never, I mean, I had customers be abusive to me. Uh,
Yeah.
and that's why I stopped working that alcohol shift that they call, the
Yeah.
10
Late night.
till
Yep.
3 in the morning. But is there that much fear as a woman of getting into an Uber and not knowing what you're going to get? I mean, I thought these guys were all like checked out.
Well, I'll tell you this. I've had more drivers that made me feel uneasy or uncomfortable than I have not. Where I've just gotten in and just had it be normal. It'll be something like I'm trying to make it obvious that I don't really want to talk because I'm by myself, or I'll answer phone calls or something, and like still try to figure out what I'm doing and who I am and all that other stuff, which is fine. Most people want to know, like, who is this person in my car? What are you doing? Where are you going? And all this other stuff. But when, people are persistent or talking to themselves or, listening to really questionable music, and then it starts to become like, okay, like how much longer do I have on this ride?
Yeah,
So
you could be the biggest death metal fan in the world, but you don't want it from your Uber driver. I would think.
exactly. Or you don't want to listen to, rap that's like objectifying women, or,
Right,
you
right.
know, with words putting them in a very questionable position. So it's like,
Yeah,
you
see,
know, it,
yeah,
yeah,
I'm glad we're talking about this a little bit because as a guy, I don't get that perspective.
yeah,
I'm one of those guys that usually slide in the front seat, and it's like two guys going for a ride.
yeah.
And if the driver's non-communicative, that's okay with me. And if they're somewhat communicative, I'm a chatty guy, so
What? You chatty? What?
yeah,
No.
but I'll chat them up. All right, what's, and then which actually probably qualifies me for some kind of mental health degree because I can see why some of the Uber drivers can't get much of another job. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
you can't work at the DMV and chat. Well, actually, probably could work.
yeah. You're like, well, you might be onto something there.
Yeah, actually, I might be. Have you watched that show by any chance?
Yeah.
DMV.
There's one too where it's like it's kind of similar, but it's, what is it called? Something that's like The Jury or something like that, where it's like they put celebrities in these fake courtrooms and stuff, and it's
Oh
pretty.
yeah,
You would like it. It's on Amazon. It's
yeah,
pretty.
the DMV is pretty good. I mean, it's kind of given a I don't know. Obviously it's over dramatized, but it's actually a pretty. I've watched all of the episodes because
Yeah.
there's also another one that's on um, about a guy that runs a tire shop.
Oh, is that
Uh,
on Netflix?
yeah, tires.
Yeah. The yep. That one's
Funny. Yeah,
pretty
pretty funny as well. Car programs are usually funny. I mean, I remember my mother the car. That was hilarious. Um, But we're not here to talk about well, we're here to talk about auto shows, but a different kind of auto show,
funny. Yeah.
a live auto show that'll be happening starting next weekend, 14th, 15th, 16th, at the Lumen Field Exhibition Center, and that is the Seattle International Auto Show, um, which I've broadcast from now for the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Um, Tom has been with me. John Vincent has been with me there, and now you will join us this year.
Yep.
The great thing about this show, I think, is the fact that a person like you, I can buy through a VIP tour a walk through this show and deep dive on whatever car or all of the cars actually
Yeah.
that I'm interested in and I want to know more about. In essence, the Seattle International Auto Show is giving you, I don't know how long the tour is, an hour or something like that.
Yeah. It's an hour. It's same as last year.
An
Yeah.
hour with an automotive expert to pick our brains about any or all of the cars that you see. Now, if you're in the market for a car, if you're thinking about a car, uh, I don't know how much the tour is, but I would say it's a lot better and a lot smarter than, laying over $1,000 to Car Edge, or $500 to Edmunds, or one of these other places that are going to give you a car expert on a phone somewhere far away. This is
Yeah.
face to face contact with somebody, and while you're not going to get everything you need from it, they're not going to make a deal for you. They're going to give you some direction on what's good to buy, what are some of the pitfalls, and what are the good vehicles? What's the technology? Because that is the part of this business changing so fast.
Yeah. Well, and a big thing too is, a lot of people are wanting three-row SUVs instead of things like minivans, because you were talking about the ID Buzz. So that got me thinking, and I was like, this would be a great opportunity, like, because you can bring your kids if they're under 12, they're free. Tours are $35, which I was going to tell you is actually a pretty decent price for an hour of touring all these cars. And then you can take your kids and actually put them in the third row without a salesman trying to get you to buy one, you know? So, because it's like the Toyota Highlander is the first one that comes to mind. It's very popular because of the third row, but the third row is essentially useless. But if you brought your kids to the auto show and then tried to fit them in the third row, then you can get a really good view on whether or not it would work for you without somebody, standing there like this waiting for their commission
Right.
to, prey on your eagerness or your emotion, your vulnerability because you're like, crap, I got to buy a car that can accommodate my kids and all that. So it's a good, like, no pressure way to figure out what is or isn't going to work for you.
Although the good thing about Toyota dealers these days is that if you are sitting in the car, you're playing with the car, and you want to know the salesman is probably moving quickly to the next person that's standing in because there's so many people are selling so many cars.
Yeah.
It's off the chart. It's like being a Chevy dealer in 1965.
Yeah.
As soon as they're rolling off the truck,
Yep.
somebody's standing next to it and plopping their money down on the hood of the car.
Yeah.
I got a question about the seat, um, the 3-row SUV. If you have kids, what is is there a particular age correlation to what SUV you should buy? Because those kids grow fast,
Yeah,
and
they
you
do.
buy a vehicle that you're going to in a year or 2 years not be able to fit those kids in the
Yep.
back seat. So you really have to kind of look, if you're buying a 3-row SUV, at what that curve is going to. There's no way you can predict how much your kids are going to grow, probably,
Yeah.
but you can buy an SUV that's going to have a bigger um, third seat, I think.
Oh, yeah. Well, and I can tell you from my own experience, because I have two toddlers that are still in car seats. And right now I have a 2011 Subaru Forester. And right now it's big enough for them because, it has a decent trunk. The back seats have a decent amount of space. And I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, gosh, though, like when they're teenagers and they need like half a mile of foot room and they're going to want to bring their friends over, or if they're in sports or Girl Scouts or anything like that, then I'm going to need a bigger trunk or something to haul more gear or something like that. So I was like, well, the Toyota Grand Highlander is a good one because, the third row is actually usable. There's tons of space even when the third row is in use, so being a parent, it kind of teaches you to look really far ahead at those kinds of things, but you might not know that as like a super new parent. I have the privilege of having the job that I do and being able to review cars every week. So, I have that unique ability to be like, oh, this would not work. Like, it'll work now when they're toddlers, but not when they're teens.
Well, when I help somebody buy a car, and I've probably put in my career a couple of thousand cars into circulation with people, tried to help them look
Yeah.
with them, and I always ask them, like, what are your family plans? And some of them look at you like you're a
Yeah.
little nuts. But if you're having a kid in the next 2 or 3 years, maybe you don't want to go for, or you want to lease the Miata.
Yeah. I know. I was just
Finish
talking about that with the Corolla GR.
right,
Gosh,
and use
yeah, the
it.
GR Corolla is fun. It's great. It has a back seat. It does fit two car seats. I've confirmed that. Doesn't mean it'll be great in the long term.
Yeah, no, your kids will be puking all over the place in the GR. As a matter of fact, it's funny because that's the car I'm reviewing today, and it's.
Oh yeah. Do you have it
I
in the
mean,
automatic or the manual?
I had the automatic. I did not have the manual. I wish I would have had the manual.
The automatic is still pretty good.
Yeah, you
Still
know,
pretty good.
yeah, that's the thing today, and that's what you find out when you go down to the auto show is that
That's true.
even though a car, listen, us, car media, car nuts, car people that get cars and like to complain, we'll always complain about a automatic versus a manual.
Yeah.
The reality is, for the average person that's driving out there, unless you're taking that car up, driving up to Mount Baker every weekend or driving out to Eastern
Right.
Washington, the automatic is just fine. You can play with it. It's got paddle shifters. You can play with it. They're made with such precision and such sharp shifting these days that I just, except for that thrill you get from the hand foot coordination type deal, uh,
Yeah.
and those types of things of playing with a clutch. What's the difference? I think they're just as fast either way. And
Well, so two things. My husband's always said, a human will never be able to shift as quickly as an automatic transmission will. And then in an ideal world, you'd have both, right? So, my husband has a 2002 WRX wagon with a 5-speed manual, and then we also have my Forester. So then when we get too bored of driving the kids around, we'll drive the WRX and be like, "Oh, that's right, driving can be fun again."
yeah,
So,
that's the one thing when you get into those, and I've gone through now. This is the second hot hatch that I've had in a couple of weeks, and just got off of the GTI
yeah,
uh, Autobahn, which is another great, just a
very
fantastic,
handsome little
well
car.
designed German engineering, all of that stuff, and they're just flat out fun to drive,
Yeah,
and
a
so
lot of
they are great
personality.
cars that put a little of the something that you don't get driving, and it's not to knock the Forester or the, or the different or the Hyundai, whatever. Pick a Hyundai,
Yeah,
uh, but if you're not buying one of the N series with Hyundai, if you're not buying, the Kia, the Volkswagen R line, and the Kia, you get, you can get a little bored.
yeah,
And so again, it comes down to speaking to somebody that knows about cars and saying, "This is what I want to do. This is
yeah,
what I need to feel comfortable in a car. Point me in the right direction."
yeah. And the auto show is a great place to do that.
Right, because you get to see them all next to each other. I don't know how many manufacturers are going to be there this year, but I hear it's a pretty full house this year.
I was gonna say, I was like, I think I can look that up.
Um,
Yeah,
one,
I do know they're focusing on EVs. Like, there's going to be a lot
yeah,
more EVs this year. And Tom's doing seminars, 2 free seminars.
good.
Where he's going to be talking about the difference between plug-in hybrids, all electric, gas, mild hybrids, and what's the advantages and disadvantages of both. And he's extremely knowledgeable about that.
Yeah,
So
he's my go-to guy for electric stuff. If I have to
same,
ask a
same.
question about electric stuff, he's the guy I go to. He's owned them a long time. He's
Yep.
driven them. He knows his electrics. Kristen, what about the national trend we're seeing? And thank God the Northwest has been a place that always bucks kind of the national trend, because the national trend right now, according to what I'm hearing from my friends back east on the East Coast and what you watch on some of these YouTube channels. And again, kids, don't watch too much YouTube. It'll rot your brain. If you thought the Flintstones would rot your brain, spend an
Yeah.
hour on YouTube.
Yeah.
It seems to be this happiness among YouTubers and among a lot of people in the Midwest that they are heralding the death of the electric car because Trump took away the $7,500 incentive and his tariffs and this and that and the other thing.
Mhm.
Is the Northwest staying strong with electric cars? I mean, are we bucking that trend, or is a person that will come to the show more likely to say, "Well, yeah, it's great you got a ton of electric cars here, but I'm not buying one anymore."
That's what I saw a lot last year. A lot of people had questions about plug-in hybrids, because I feel like there's a little bit more trust there, that there's also, the gas engine to back up the battery, because the biggest fear is range anxiety of like, well, what am I going to do if I run out of battery? And at least with a PHEV, you have the gas engine too. But I feel like the Northwest, I mean, because I'm in California now, so EVs are everywhere.
Yeah,
There's a Tesla charging station everywhere. I'd say it's about 50-50 driving on these highways out here where you see Teslas, Hyundai Ioniq 5s, what's the Kia one? The EV6, I see a lot of EVs out here.
yeah, EV9 SUV.
Yep. So it's, so I feel like California is definitely like they're headed towards the future of like, oh yeah, EVs are the best. Anybody who doesn't have an EV is garbage. But I feel like the Northwest is still very skeptical. And that's fine. Infrastructure is still catching up. EVs are still pretty expensive compared to gas cars. So I feel like there's still a barrier to get through in the Northwest. But, again, the auto show is a great place to talk to people like Tom or myself who can kind of walk them through that and just be like, well, we understand that there's these, for instance, Tom told me the story. I saw him in Texas last week, and he told me the story about there was a guy that was worried that, charging an EV after it got down to like 10% would take 8 hours. And, and he said, well, and Tom told the man, he's like, well, that's why you charge it when you're going to bed, right? Because you get home at 5 or 6 o'clock, you plug it in, it's charging all night long. And then by the time you wake up to go to work at 7, 8 in the morning, it's ready to go. It's fully charged. And it seemed like the person he was talking to it didn't click for him until he talked to someone like Tom.
Right.
So, I think that's my really long way of saying.
Well, it's interesting because a couple of years ago, and this was just matter of fact, it was during COVID actually. I bought an EV for a friend of mine. He wanted an EV. We had decided on the Chevy
Yeah.
Bolt, which I think is possibly the best EV
Yeah.
ever built, from a relationship of value, cost, uh, um, serviceability. It clicked every box.
Yeah. It's a great city slicker.
I'm glad they're coming back with it. I think it's the stupidest mistake that GM made. They could have sold probably 10, 15 million of those things in the
Oh,
time.
yeah.
You know,
Easily.
they would have had as many bolts out there and Bolt EUVs as they did Tesla. It would have been amazing. But
And I'd rather see those than Teslas too, let's be honest.
exactly, because I found that the Bolt EV drivers didn't have quite the same attitude that the Tesla drivers did. Who, not saying nothing, but anyway, to uh, and I went to several different showrooms around here to look and see if I could find something that And I didn't do the internet thing. I just got in my car and I drove around and I went here and I went to the east side and I said, all right, let me see now. Aside from the fact that all of them wanted at that time $10,000 over,
Yeah.
um, none of them could explain to me exactly how the car worked.
Yeah.
None of them, not one of them, and you bring up a great point. Not one of them ever said to me the line that I think sells electric cars. Instead of stopping at the gas station and waiting out in the freezing cold and rain to put gas in your car, you drive it home to your garage, you plug it in, you go sit down with your family, eat dinner, watch TV, and in the
Yeah.
morning when you come out all fresh and clean, your car is charged and ready to go.
Oh, it's true. And one of the things I talked about a lot last year when people were very hesitant about EVs and they're like, oh, but when it's cold, the range drops. And I'm like, here's something nobody will tell you. But in a gas car, when you're running the defroster and the heater at full blast, that eats your gas mileage. So because your engine's having to work harder to keep your car warm.
Right.
And it's like, but the nice thing about the EV is, while it's charging, for most EVs, you can go in the app, set the cabin temperature while it's still charging, and then by the time you get into the EV, it's warm, it's ready to go. The cabin's warm, and you didn't sip a single kilowatt hour of energy because it's already plugged in. But and that's the only drawback I will say is unless you have a home charger, that's the only time an EV is more convenient is when you have a home charger.
Right.
Because if you have to rely on public charging, I would not recommend
Right.
it.
And luckily, here in the Northwest, a lot of private homes, a lot of people. Yeah, it's tough if you're if you're an apartment dweller, unless your apartment has had the foresight to slap in some
To chargers, yep.
charging stations, which we're seeing more and more.
Yeah. California especially.
Yeah, yeah. And what has really improved the situation, I think, a little bit, and I've done it a few times now, and it's worked out pretty well, I think, surprisingly well, actually. I've gotten looked down upon is the fact that now many cars you can just pull up to a Tesla supercharger if you have the adapter or you have a newer car and just plug it into their charging format, and those things are great.
Yep.
Except the fact that I have something on my phone that I never, ever, 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 ever in my life thought that I would have a
Yeah.
Tesla app.
I know. I was gonna say, I was like, but then there's a small part of me, but that's like, but then you're supporting that man.
Yeah, yeah.
But hey, if it's convenient, and what's great is more and more stores are like 7-Eleven. I remember is partnering with, I don't remember which company it is, but another charging brand that, while you're charging, come in and buy something at 7-Eleven. Taco Bell was doing it. I think I saw.
Costco has a
Yeah,
big program on to put. They were originally against it
yeah,
because they thought people would sit there and just take up all the spaces. But I guess they figured out that more people that came to Costco would draw more people to Costco
yep.
to park their car, charge it up. They'd spend more time.
Go inside, get a hot dog.
Yeah, I mean, think about it, folks. You can get your car charged and a $1.50 hot dog. I mean, I don't want to say America is a great country just for nothing, but that says America is a great. Try getting that in Europe. Ain't gonna happen.
And the pizza there is delicious too. Just saying. So it's like, get your shopping done, charge your car at the same time. I did that whenever I reviewed EVs and Bend. I would charge it at that Walmart station, go shopping. In 45 minutes, I would just time it to where I would do my grocery shopping at Walmart, plug it in, charge it. It would cost me about $20. And then in 45 minutes, the battery was from 10 to 85%. And I'm like, kind of hard to beat, like while I'm shopping, my car's getting charged. So
Yeah, it's a really. How did that get there? Stop it.
the Hyundai Ioniq 9, loved that one.
Yeah. All of a sudden, my computer's going crazy. I have a crazy computer. I think it's getting to be time for a new one.
Yeah.
5 years is probably about computer time. Um, so Seattle Auto Show, Seattle International Auto Show, that will be next week, 14th, 15th, 16th, at the Lumen Field Convention Center Exhibition Hall, I guess is what they call it.
Oh yeah.
Goes from 10 o'clock in the morning till 9 o'clock at night, I believe, on Friday and Saturday, 6 o'clock on Sunday. It is, besides just looking at cars, there's a lot of other automotive information that's there too. I remember last year there were people from City Light. If you
Yep.
would get an electric car, you could talk to them about getting a charger installed. Several people there with different automotive things that they sell to enhance your electric car experience, your internal combustion engine experience. I
Lots
really
of
can't
test drives. Yeah.
I can't say ice anymore when it comes up to talking about cars, and it just bothers me. But
Yeah.
all of these different ancillary products that go along with the car. So even if you're not in the market to buy a car, there's a lot of you can walk out of there with a bag of shot skis. Uh, tchotchkes just going to the show, and again, you get to meet Tom, you get to meet Chris, you get to meet me, and
And there's puppies.
oh
Subaru.
yes, that's right. The Subaru. There is nothing finer than when I get there on Saturday morning to do the show, and here are the volunteers from the Subaru booth, and they just have. I mean, 4 years running now, I have not walked out of there with a puppy, and it has been the hardest thing for me to do
Yeah.
is to
Yeah.
not walk out. And every year I go in there saying, no, 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 and every year I come just yay close to walking out of there with a mutt. I don't know what I'm going to do.
I know.
Yeah,
You just
this
have to,
one,
every time you walk by the Subaru booth, you have to go like this.
yeah, and they bring the coolest puppies. There's no,
They do.
they leave the mangy mutts in the shelter, and they bring like the ones that look at you and go,
Yeah. Like with the big eyes, and they're just like, yep. I know. They're very smart. Very smart.
before I let you go, I talked about this when I was bringing you in, and while I have you, and I know that you're such an expert in this, any idea? This is something that has bothered me. Last year, I picked the Volkswagen ID Buzz as my car of the year.
Oh
It
yeah.
was it was everything. I
Yeah.
had driven it up to Canada, had driven it to Leavenworth, had gone camping in it, had used it to pick up Christmas trees, had slept in it one. I mean, just it was
Cool.
everything I thought that a minivan should be,
Yeah.
and also make you feel cool driving it. Even the look factor, the wow factor on it. When I parked it in Leavenworth, every time I walked by it, there was a gang of people looking at it, and it always caught my eye that so many people were looking at this. I thought that
Yeah.
they would be rolling them out of the showrooms like crazy, and now I see that they stopped production on them. Now I
I
don't know.
think I remember reading they had a lot of software issues
Yeah,
where, like all of the sudden it wouldn't start, or it would have issues with all of the sudden turning off when it was driving or things like that.
gotcha.
I know two reviewers that have had similar issues like that. Um, so I think it's one of those. I mean, that's something my dad always taught me: is you never buy first model year of anything.
And he was right.
So, so it's one of those things where I'm like, I had that reservation where I'm like, oh no, I think it'll do great because it plays off of the nostalgia factor. They did a really good job of bringing the vintage design with like a modern flair to it, and they kept all the iconic colors and kept a lot of the personality that was from the 1960s bus. And I thought calling it Buzz was really clever because it's like bus, but then
Right.
Z, like electricity. So it definitely has the potential. And I feel like even with those issues, there's enough love for it that when they come back next year or they iron out the issues, that it'll still be met with a lot of love and optimism.
Good, good. Because
I think so.
I would just be sad if that went away after such a short run.
I don't think it will.
Zillions to
There's no way. I saw that. What city was it? I think it was Los Angeles. I could double check, but there was a city that partnered with Uber and Volkswagen to make those their like main Uber cars because
yeah.
you can carry more people. It's all electric, so there's no emissions. Um, let me see. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but I was like, I'm pretty sure it was Los Angeles.
Well, and I think one of the things I said in my
Yeah.
when I did my report is that if you were driving Uber or Lyft or something, this would be the vehicle you would want because
Oh yeah.
it's a stylish vehicle. It's a soft vehicle. It's easy to get into. It has room if people are carrying packages or luggage or whatever. This is the vehicle. I mean, they hit a home run with this thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
Well,
So
I know
that's why I don't think it's going anywhere. I think they're just
good.
trying to be like, well, hold on. Like now we got to figure this out.
Well, I know that the Volkswagen software people, because I've had them on the show, are here in I think Bellevue.
Yeah,
So you listen, fix the damn thing. Drop everything else you do and fix it.
just saying, just
Just
saying.
saying, you, you guys are screwing it up here. Get
Oh,
it
I
fixed.
know. It's like it's I do think there's so much nostalgia and with it that it'll carry it through. It'll
Right.
carry it through,
And
no matter what.
we need things right now that are going to make us feel good. I mean, that was the
Oh
thing
yeah,
about it is, you know, everywhere I parked and everywhere I went with it, people would stop and talk to you. Now, in this day and age of how hostile people can be to each other, anything that softens people up,
yeah,
gets them to, stop and talk to somebody else should
yep,
be praised. It should be, should be worked on. They should be giving them out free to people. Here, take one. Go back, make your neighborhood happy.
yeah. Really, really. I agree. Like there were a few cars that when I was in Bend would get people to open up, and actually the GR Corolla was one of
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
There was a guy that came up to me and he's like, "So you put your kids in one so I can convince my wife to let me get one?" And I'm like, "Good luck." But I'm an example. It could work, but just because
Well,
you can't do something doesn't mean you should. Just
I
saying.
always love it because I'm an older guy, as you may have noticed, and I, when I get a car like the GR, and matter of fact, when I had the GR,
Yeah.
I have a Dick's right over here, and on Friday and Saturday night, it's where the kids congregate. It's where
Yeah.
everybody with a cool car is parked there, showing off their cars. And here I come running and driving through and parking with the GR, and
Yeah.
they're looking, and they're going like, "What the hell is this? Who's this
Yeah.
old guy?"
They're
And
like
I don't,
300 horsepower from a
yeah,
three-cylinder engine. What the heck?
no.
Yeah.
And I remember there was one kid. He was just looking at the three exhaust pipes. He said, "One for how did you get that?" And he thought that I had added the third.
Yeah.
No,
You're like, no,
no, I
this is
didn't add
factory.
anything to it. Factory.
I know it's crazy.
Kristen, it's good to talk to you. I will
Yeah.
see
Thanks for
you.
having me.
Yes. Please come on again. It's an enjoyable conversation. Um, we will see you at the Seattle International Auto Show. That, as I say, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You'll be there all 3 days.
I will.
I'll be there.
I'll be doing all. I start the first show, and then it's every hour. And I think the first show every day is noon, and then I'll do one at 2, then 4, then
Okay,
yada yada.
we will look for you. I will be there probably Friday, hanging around, getting some
Cool.
stuff for my show, and then on Saturday we'll do the show live. So maybe you'll be able to come over. We do
Yeah,
a
with Tom.
round table with Tom and I do with John, but we sit down and we just kind of make bold predictions and look back at the past year and kind of kind of just give our opinions on what's happening in the automotive business around the Northwest. So I
Yeah.
look forward to getting your stuff and hearing what you're thinking about it as well. Nice addition to our
Yeah.
auto show pack, man. I'm really happy to see you. Uh,
Thank
Check
you.
out next week. Thanks a lot, Kristen.
Bye.
Bye. Take care. All right, that's Kristen Brown. She will be at the auto show. Great person. As I said, I've gotten to know her over the last few years, and a good writer, great person, and I look forward to spending time with her at the auto show. All right, I know we're running a bit long. I do want to get this. For some reason, my MacBook Pro is giving me a little bit of trouble on transferring stuff. So let's see if we. Here we go. All right. So we've got it in, um, and it's always a beautiful thing when you have it, when it's all coming together for you. I don't know why this is all happening, but we will. There we go. Always a beautiful thing when you have all of the things that you need actually wind up being there. Oy vey, as they say. This is what I'm driving this week. This is the Yo Vinny. What are you driving this week? It is the uh, 2025 Toyota Crown Nightshade. Now, you don't see a lot of nightshades out on the road, and I don't know why, to be honest with you. I think this is one of the finest vehicles that Toyota produces. If you are in the market for a big car, if you're in the market for something larger than the Prius, this hybrid edition of the Toyota Crown, which slots in kind of in the middle, it's not the most expensive one, but it's not the cheapest one either, and it has the hybrid power. And look at the style, both inside and outside, on this particular car. Roomy interior, nice faux leather seats with this particular model doesn't have massage, but it has massage in the upper models. Wide screens. Toyota's really improved their game when it comes to screens, the dashboard, and getting the information to you that you need to get. A simplified gear shift handle, traction control, and drive modes right there on the console. Again, as I say, seats are extremely comfortable, extremely wide, a huge sunroof on this thing as well, and plenty of trunk space. Now, it's not as much as an SUV, of course, but for a passenger car, which is kind of an SUV, this is a pretty hot little ride. Also, the hybrid equipment, you can see it under the hood there. Uh, Toyota's hybrids are the best. They're, par none. They do the best job, Toyota, at building hybrids. They do such a good job that other companies use their hybrid equipment in their cars. They build the bodies and they buy the engines from Toyota. So you know that you're getting a quality car. You know that you're getting something that's not going to break down. It's not going to have problems. It's a comfortable ride in this car that is really going to give you um, that feeling. It's funny because they named this the Crown, and when I was driving it yesterday, and I'll be driving it all week, I couldn't help thinking, in some ways, of the Ford Crown Victoria, which was the standard American family car for so many years, and this so reminded me of the Crown Victoria. Probably set me off because of the name, but also because of the comfortable place to fit five people. Um, Obviously, it's not a cramped up car, it's not a small car, but yet it's stylish. The nightshade appliques on the side and the black handles and the black wheels, along with the beautiful blue color. Give it and there's only a couple of colors available in the nightshade. I think there's this and a black or something. Just give it a really solid look and a solid feel while driving it. It was a comfortable car to drive. It held the road good in the rain and in the dryness. I'm interested to take it up along the mountain roads and see what it does. But again, plenty of places to put stuff. A big, honking big, actually, honking big uh, sunroof that puts a glass enclosure over the back roof, back seats, as well as the front, and enough horsepower to get you where you're going and comfortably. It's the Prius made our car of the year a couple of years ago when it was introduced, the brand new Prius, and the Toyota Crown Nightshade. Well, I'm not going to say that it's a. I'm not going to say that it'll make my car of the year, but I will say that it is going to be in the conversation because of what it does. And again, it does so many things so well uh, for um, for a family, or if you spend a lot of time on the road and you don't want to drive an SUV. You know, there's people out there that just don't want to drive an SUV. Um, but when you slip into this thing, you feel it so much more of a Lexus feeling than you do a Toyota feeling. It would be interesting to see what people that are shopping Lexus when they look at a Toyota Crown Nightshade or something up, there's a trim level or two, I forget, above it, what they would do with this. I mean, you get the hybrid powertrain, you get 236 horsepower. I think there's if you go with the Platinum Trip, which is the top, you get a 340 horsepower, turbocharged four-cylinder plus the hybrid equipment. Gives you 30 miles per gallon, 41 combined with the hybrid. Easy five-seater, comfortable five-seater. Plus, you get 15 cubic feet of cargo capacity. Those are the numbers on this thing. And a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty. I'm just somebody that looks at this car and says that this is, when you put this in with the upper end full-size vehicles, that the 236 horsepower is enough to get you where you go, and it's not going to be a speedster. If you want something a little fast, if you do a lot of highway driving, you do a lot of, traveling over to Eastern Washington and down the highways and road work and stuff like that, you may want to, take a look at the Platinum. The Platinum. One thing I like about the Platinum is they have a 6-speed automatic in that thing. All-wheel drive is standard. The Crown suspension gives you a relaxing ride. So it's not going to be a sports car. It's going to be a comfortable car. It's going to be, strangely enough, if you're around long enough, what the Crown Victoria was in the 70s and the 80s. It was the standard for American cars. It was comfortable. It had a lot of room. It had space for 5 people. It was durable. They used them as taxis. They used them as police cars. They used them as all sorts of cars. And yeah, they sucked a little gas, depending on which engine you got in it. But for the most part, they were America's standard for big size cars. Well, Toyota, whether it was conscious or not, has brought that tradition into the Crown. So 0 to 60 time, I think this one will probably give it to you in about 7 to 8 seconds. And again, I love the look of this car as well. I think it's a very, very stylish car. And you can't beat the interior. It's comfortable. It's wide. You don't feel crowded. You feel very, very comfortable. I want to see the Platinum. I want to see, because you know me, I'm a sucker for the interior lights. And this one didn't seem to have the ambient lighting that I would like. So maybe I would go for the more horsepower and the interior lighting, because I'm nuts enough to want to build different colors into the car while I'm traveling. If I'm going to a Mets game, I want to put yellow and orange and blue. If I'm going to a Mariners game, I want the teal and the blue. If I'm going to a Seahawks game, I want the lime green in there. And it's become important to me now to have a car that you can program in your team colors. I know you're saying I'm nuts, and you're the guy that spent $355 on an autographed jersey of Kurt Warner because he wanted to look cool. Hey, David Finley joined us earlier. I don't know if he's still with us, but I saw that he was playing the Crash Test Dummies, just the kind of music you should be listening to when you're listening to this show. You know, David, we used to do a feature on this show called the Cartoon of the Week. And since we are on YouTube, we can't do it. But I've been toying with different ways to be able to incorporate the Cartoon of the Week into the show because I thought it was such a great feature. I got to introduce, I'm a music guy, and I got to introduce music to people. And so I thought it was, like I say, a pretty cool feature. But I'm working on it. We're working on a bunch of different things for the show for the upcoming year. As I said at the top of the show, including some features that I think you're going to like. We're going to bring back some of the classic interviews, bring back some of the classic reviews that we've done because I have a 30-year library of them that is just sitting there, and I'd like to be able to show them to you again. All right. That I think is going to put this one in the books. Is there anything that I'm forgetting? Oh, yes. There was one other thing that I wanted to let you know. The Ioniq 6 is one of the cars that I've really this is the Ioniq 9 actually that we're looking at, but all of the Ioniqs in the this is one of the cars that I recently reviewed, and I just wanted to bring it up again because I just thought that it was such a fun car to drive, and they just dropped the news this week that they're going to make these do the N series with these. Now I don't know if the 9 is included. I know the 5 has it already, and the 5 has it. The 6 is going to get it, and the is getting it. So it's really it was one of my favorite cars to be in drive. And I just thought that the Ioniq 9, and I might as well tell you a little bit more about it now. And I just thought that the Ioniq 9 was such a dynamite vehicle. And I did a very short review on it a couple of weeks ago, but I wanted you to look at it again. I thought that this thing was one of the sharpest looking futuristic vehicles that I drove, one of the quietest vehicles I drove. And if you have a family and you're looking for that 3-row SUV and you want something that, that maybe doesn't get as many of the tariffs because it's built in Georgia, has great range, 311 to 335 miles, 7 seats, 5-year, 60,000-mile limited warranty, and is all electric, that this Ioniq 9 is something worth looking at. They started around 60,000. I think mine, which was the performance calligraphy, was around $78,000, if I'm not mistaken. This one was an all-wheel drive. It really drove and really Um, Stuck to the road real well. I was surprised how well it handled the road. I was surprised how roomy it was inside, and I was surprised too on all of the different amenities in this vehicle. It really, again, when you go and you look at the information that you want, especially if you're driving a car that you may not be totally familiar with, the charge times were good on the battery. Every time I took it to charge it, charged right up, didn't have any difficulty. It spoke to the charger well. The only thing I kind of wondered about in this vehicle was what's going on with those slats above the wheel wells. I mean, I thought maybe that Hyundai might have been thinking that they're going to make this at some point a flying car, and that's where the wings were going to go. But that's just my opinion. But when you're looking for, if you're looking to go electric, and you're looking for a car that's going to be both roomy, give you decent driving dynamics, give you a lot of speed and a lot of power, and a lot of ability to get to where you're going, a lot of range, and be fun for the kids in the back seat and fun for you driving it. It was an engaging car, and you could see there in the front that this car was smartly styled. Again, I say this all the time. The Koreans have figured electric out. As you look at the dashboard, I mean, some people like the pattern in there, some people don't, but it really has, and I suspect that future models will have another screen stuck in where that pattern is on the passenger side of the dashboard. But they do. I mean, look at the room for your feet. Look at the room for your legs. Look at the room in this thing, the comfortableness of the massaging seats, and the just the all-out look of this car, where you and your passengers, and this one had the captain seats inside of it in the second row, an ability for your passengers to see what they're doing. If I was going to drive across America today, and I might be driving across America in the near future, this is one of the vehicles I would want to choose from to drive across America. Matter of fact, I may call Hyundai up and see if they'll give me one to drive across America. I wouldn't mind driving across America in this thing because it gave you so much room. You could sleep in it. It had a lot of room for camping if that's the way you were going. Not much of a frunk, but enough to carry what you got to carry with you. The charging cord and I don't know if I ever looked in that other one. Maybe it's a first aid kit or something. Anyway, that's a little tour of the Hyundai Ioniq 9. I know I gave you a short one in a previous show, but I wanted to give you a longer one in this show. All right. Want to thank, of course, our sponsors, the Seattle Auto Show. Next week from the Seattle Auto Show. Come by and see us on Saturday. Hopefully we will have tickets to give away. Let me just check real quick. I sent a little message, but I don't know if I got an answer yet. So I'm just. And yes, I do have a pair of tickets to give away. So if you stuck with us this long and you want to have a pair of tickets, and that's, I don't know, like a $30 value, $30 or $40 value, to the Seattle International Auto Show next weekend at the Lumen Field Event Center, why don't you email me at Vinnie, Vinnie, at Drivetime Radio. Wait, Vinnie, Vinnie, at drivetime-radio.com. That's Vinnie at drivetime-radio.com, or put your name in the comments below. And from all of those, I'll pick two people and we will get you to the auto show free of charge next week and get you to meet myself and Tom and Kristen. Okay? All right. We thank the Seattle International Auto Show for those tickets. And don't forget, Lumenfield Event Center, if you are one of those people that are looking for excitement, looking at all the different cars, looking to see which is right for you. An internal combustion engine vehicle, a hybrid, which a lot of people, or an all-electric vehicle. You're thinking about buying cars, you can see them, touch them, driving all together. The Hyundai Palisade will be there. The Ineos Grenadier wagon, the Ram 1500 pickup, the Toyota Tacoma Trail Hunter, the Tiguan SEL R-Line, and the Prelude will be back. The Honda Prelude, it's gone 20 years, the Prelude. When I met my ex-wife, she was driving a Honda Prelude. And that was, I don't know how long ago, 25 years ago. So those will be there. You'll have the EV test drive, the electric highway display. There'll be classic cars there. Our friends from Avance will be there, and they're going to be doing a special, very cool, very, very cool Purple Rain exhibit that will include cars that pay tribute to Prince and Jimi Hendrix. So don't forget that. And of course, the whole show is brought to you by George Jackson Advertising Specialties. GJ Specialties. You can find them on the internet, find them on Facebook. If you are thinking about gifts for your employees, if you're thinking about gifts for your business associates, customers, whether they be calendars, T-shirts, jackets, whatever you're thinking of for your business, before you try to jump on the internet, deal with somebody face-to-face. Try my friend George Jackson. He will take care of you, and if not, I'll make it up to you, okay? I've never had a complaint. George is a top-notch guy, and he really deserves your business. And he supports this show all year, as does the Seattle Auto Show, okay? All right. Thank you very much for listening to the show. I know we went a little bit long today. We'll go a little bit long next week, but what the heck? What else am I doing anyway, right? Right. Have a good week. We'll see you at the Seattle International Auto Show next weekend. And until then, if we'll see all of those things will happen if the Lord's willing and the creek don't rise. And as I always say to you, as Sammy Davis Jr. said so succinctly, peace, love, and Manischewitz, baby. Don't drink while you drive. What a wine.